The following stories were sent in by real people. They swear every word is true. Watch until the end, if you dare. Last winter, I house sat for a family while they were away for the holidays. A big house, far out in the countryside. The first 2 nights were perfectly quiet. On the third night, I was watching television when I heard a knock at the front door. I checked the clock. It was almost midnight. Through the peephole, I saw a police officer. He said there had been a break-in nearby and asked to come inside just to check that the house was secure. But something felt wrong. His uniform didn't quite fit, and he wouldn't look directly at me. So I told him I would call the station first, just to confirm. The moment I mentioned calling, his face changed. The friendly smile vanished, and he just stood there, staring at me through the glass, saying nothing. I locked the deadbolt and backed away. When I dared to look through the window a minute later, he was gone, but so was the family's dog that had been barking in the yard. The next morning, I found the dog's collar on the porch steps and muddy boot prints. They didn't lead away from the house. They led up to every single window. So I called the real police. And what they told me still keeps me up at night. For weeks, a man had been posing as an officer to get inside homes along that road. 2 families had already let him in. They were never seen again. The only reason I am alive to tell you this is that I asked one simple question and picked up the phone instead of unlocking that door. Every winter since, I check every window twice, and I never ever open the door after dark. I drive a delivery route through the mountains at night. Long, empty roads, no lights, no towns. After a while, you get used to being completely alone out there. One night, a pair of headlights appeared behind me. They stayed far back, matching my speed almost exactly. For over an hour, they never got closer and never fell away. When I sped up, they sped up. When I slowed down, they slowed too. I told myself it was nothing, just another driver heading the same way. But my hands wouldn't stop shaking. Then my phone rang, a blocked number. I answered. A man's voice, calm and low, said only, "Don't stop the car, keep driving, and whatever you do, do not turn around." I asked who it was. He said he had been driving behind me for the last hour, trying to work up the courage to call, because from his headlights, he could see a man, crouched down, in my back seat. I don't remember the rest of that drive, but the police found scratch marks on the inside of my trunk, and the stranger who called me said he had tried to warn 3 other drivers that month. None of them had answered their phone. My friends and I rented a remote cabin for a weekend in the mountains. No cell signal, no neighbors for miles, just the 4 of us and the forest. The first night, we found a strange note taped to the refrigerator. It read, "If you hear knocking after midnight, do not answer the door. It is not us." We laughed it off. A joke from the owner, we figured, to spook the renters. Until, at exactly midnight, the knocking began. 3 slow, heavy knocks on the front door. We stayed silent. Then the knocking moved to the windows, then along the walls, slowly circling the entire cabin. Something out there wanted to come in, and it was patient. Then we heard a voice outside. It was my friend Daniel, sobbing, begging us to open the door. But Daniel was standing right beside me, pale, shaking his head, because it was his voice, perfectly. We did not open that door. We sat in the dark, holding our breath until the knocking finally stopped, just before dawn. In the morning, we stepped outside. The fresh snow around the cabin was perfectly untouched. No footprints, nothing. But taped to the door, in the very same handwriting as the first note, was a new one. It simply read, "You learn fast. Most don't." I live alone in an old house. For weeks, small things felt off. Food I had bought would vanish. A leftover meal, gone by morning. I told myself I was just being forgetful. Then it was other things. A door I always kept shut, standing open. The heating turned up when I got home. Once, a warm cup of coffee on the counter that I never made. So I set up a small camera in the kitchen, pointed at the fridge, just to prove to myself I was imagining all of it. That night, I watched the footage on my phone, from bed. At 3 in the morning, the camera caught movement. A thin man I had never seen, climbing down from the attic hatch. He ate at my table, calm, unhurried. Then he climbed back up and pulled the hatch shut behind him. The police found a nest of blankets in the crawl space right above my bedroom ceiling. He had been living up there for months, listening, learning my schedule, waiting for the nights I slept the deepest. I worked the overnight shift at a gas station off the highway. From 2 to 5 in the morning, I am the only person for miles. Usually nothing happens. Just me, the hum of the coolers, and the empty road. One night, a woman pulled up to a pump. She came inside, bought nothing, and quietly asked me to call the police. She was smiling the whole time, so I would not look alarmed. She whispered that a man was hiding in the back seat of her car. She had seen him in the mirror at a red light. She kept smiling, pretending to check her phone, and waited. I called it in. When the police arrived and opened her back door, there was a man crouched on the floor of the car. He had a knife, and he had been there since she left her home, an hour away. She told the officers she almost had not stopped. She was so tired, she nearly drove straight home to her kids. The only reason she pulled in was because our lights were the last ones still on. 5 stories, 5 people who trusted the small, quiet voice that told them something was wrong. That feeling that says, "Not tonight, do not ignore it. One day, it may be the only thing that saves you." This channel is where the darkness lives. Every week, new true stories. The ones people are too afraid to tell in the daylight. The knock you should never answer. The voice that is not who it claims to be. The stranger already inside your home. If tonight's stories found you, the next ones will find you too. So subscribe, turn off the lights, and we will be here waiting when the sun goes down.